All right, let's get right into it. Give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, by Shema.
Manifestation of its desire to retain its international dominance and to preserve the unipolar world order. The sharp remarks from the Russian president were published hours before the Chinese leader arrived in Moscow on Monday to visit Putin. Putin said that the Russia-China relations have reached the highest level in their history and are gaining even more strength. He said that they surpassed Cold War time military political alliances in their quality, with no one to constantly order and no one to constantly obey, without limitations or taboos. Now, the Chinese president has previewed his visit to Moscow by declaring that no single country should dictate the international order. His tone for his visit this week to Moscow has been touting improving relations with Russia in the 10 years since he took office, vowing that the transition to a multipolar world liberated from U.S. domination will not be stopped. He said that the world today is going through profound changes unseen in a century. The historical trend of peace, development, and win-win cooperation is unstoppable. The prevailing trends of multipolarity, economic globalization, and greater democracy in international relations are irreversible. Now, in addition to that, the Washington Examiner is reporting that Russia has threatened to bomb The Hague. International Criminal Court judges should watch the skies, according to a top Kremlin official who threatened a violent response to the arrest warrant issued against President Putin. Dmitry Medvedev said that, "I'm afraid, gentlemen, everyone is answerable to God and missiles. It's quite impossible to imagine how a hypersonic Onyx fired from a Russian warship in the North Sea strikes the court building in The Hague. It can't be shot down, I'm afraid," he said. He went on to state, "And the court is just a pathetic international organization, not the people of a NATO country. So they won't start a war," he said. "They'll be scared, and no one will be sorry." The former Russian president issued that retort on the same day that the Chinese president arrived in Moscow. Now, with that said, it's also been reported that Poland is to station the HIMARS near the Russian border. The U.S.-made HIMARS rocket launchers will be stationed on the border with Russia's westernmost Kaliningrad region, according to the Polish defense minister. Moscow has continually warned NATO against increasing their military presence on Russia's borders and almost becoming part of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine due to the frequent weapon shipments. But it doesn't end there. Backed by the U.S. and EU, Poland and Slovakia are sending fighter jets to Ukraine, which Russia has vowed to destroy all the fighter jets donated to Ukraine by the European nations. Now, these fighter jets have been a long-term demand for the Ukrainian government since the Russian invasion at the start of 2022, but NATO leaders have shied away from what they considered a major escalation of their involvement in the conflict until now. In addition to that, NATO Spain is sending more tanks and military vehicles to Ukraine. Now, with all of that in mind, here's a report that I've been meaning to bring to you guys, and it's in regards to Russian submarines off the United States coast. But it's been reported that the U.S. military commanders and experts are sounding the warnings about the buildup of Russian submarines off American coasts. The Russian buildup of naval assets is more expansive than just the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, and it includes seas surrounding the U.S. The Russian Maritime Studies Institute director Michael Peterson has warned that the deployment mirrors the Soviet-style submarine deployments in the Cold War. Now, this will be a persistent, proximate threat capable of carrying a significant number of land attack cruise missiles that can threaten the homeland. Now, to go with that, it's also been reported Russia is keeping 2 cruise missile carriers in the Black Sea as U.S. drone flights over the Black Sea have resumed after the Russian collision. Now, with that said, what has China been up to? Reports are coming out that China has shipped assault weapons and body armor to Russia for their fight in Ukraine. China also approves law changes amid a possible war prep. China's parliament approved changes to laws that would allow it to pass emergency legislation more quickly. The amendment to the legislation law, which governs how laws are enacted, gives the highest body of the national parliament special powers to pass laws after just one review session. It is an important measure to further improve the quality and efficiency of the legislation, so they say. However, many are saying that this is a prep for war. Now, with that said, the Times of Israel is reporting, for the first time since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Israel has authorized the sale of defensive military equipment to Ukraine. According to Walla News site, which cited 3 Israeli and Ukrainian officials, Jerusalem approved export licenses for 2 Israeli companies to sell electronic warfare systems with a range of 25 miles that could be used to defend against drone attacks. Russia has sent thousands of Iranian-made suicide drones to attack targets across Ukraine, particularly power stations and other crucial infrastructure. But the report said that the export licenses were approved by the foreign minister and defense minister in mid-February. Cohen then informed Ukrainian President Zelensky of the decision during his visit in Ukraine. A Ukrainian official told the news site that while the country was pleased with the development, it was still pressing Israel to supply the anti-missile systems, saying that on that, we have a gap. Israel has until now resisted providing weapons to Ukraine. One major reason for Israel's hesitance appears to be its strategic need to maintain freedom of operations in Syria, where Russian forces largely control the airspace. Israeli officials told the news site that the approval of the export licenses was not a shift in policy because the systems are defensive in nature and do not use any live fire that can kill Russian soldiers. So I guess the pressure on Israel is beginning to work. But will Israel give Ukraine the Iron Dome or the David Sling? Because if they do, tensions between Israel and Russia will intensify dramatically and could very well be the tipping point. But I guess only time will tell. In the meantime, the United States and the Philippines will hold the largest joint military drills ever, which is sure to anger China. The U.S. and the Philippines will hold their largest ever joint military exercises this next month. A total of 17,680 soldiers will take part in the annual drills, which for the first time will include live fire exercises in the disputed South China Sea and a simulated defense of a tiny Philippine island nearly 300 kilometers or 190 miles south of Taiwan. The countries will also stage an amphibious landing on the western island of Palawan, the closest Philippine landmass to the Spratly Islands, a flashpoint for Beijing and Manila. A Philippine spokesman for the war games said that any armed forces has a right to conduct military exercises. It's really a part of our combat readiness. But this announcement comes less than 6 weeks after the Philippines and the U.S. agreed to restart joint patrols in the South China Sea and struck a deal to give U.S. troops access to another 4 military bases in the Southeast Asian country. In the meanwhile, over in North Korea, the North Korean leader has overseen drills simulating a nuclear counterattack against the U.S. and South Korea in a warning to the allies who are scaling up their joint military exercises. The North's drills involved a short-range missile launch, but unusually the missile flew from a buried silo, which analysts say would help improve speed and stability in future tests of ICBMs. The KCNA said that the exercises on Saturday and Sunday were designed to boost the country's war deterrence and nuclear counterattack capability, accusing Washington and South Korea of making an explicit attempt to unleash a war against them. The drill also aimed to demonstrate our tougher will to make an actual war response and send a stronger warning to the enemy who expands their war drills for aggression. In the exercises, a ballistic missile equipped with a mock nuclear warhead flew 497 miles before hitting a target under the scenario of a tactical nuclear attack, according to the KCNA. Kim said that the exercises improved the military's war capability and urged the military to stand ready for an immediate and overwhelming nuclear counterattack at any time. The present situation, the KCNA said, in which the...
All right, just keep writing these scriptures. Let's go to this. We get again, 2 chapter 9, verse 1. It said, he answered me. Then it said, measure the time diligently in itself. When thou see pass of thy sign pass. Hold on. Thou see pass of the sign pass, which I told thee before. Thou shalt understand that it is the very same time within the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? Which he made. Verse 3, therefore, when thou shalt be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, they shall well understand that the Most High has spoken of those things from the day that was before thee, even from the beginning, for like as all is made in the world, had a beginning, and the end is manifest, right? The end is manifest. Even so, that time also the highest hath planned the beginning, and wonders and powerful works, and endure affliction and signs. And everyone that should be saved should be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed, right? Everyone that should be saved by, everyone shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby you have believed. You should be preserved from the sin period and see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified thee for me from the beginning, right? From the beginning. Verse 9, then should they be pitiful case when thou have bruised my ways, and that they had cast them away despiteful, should dwell in turmoil, right? Should dwell in turmoil. For sure as in their life they have received, no, that's not. For sure as, that's not really bad here. Man, forgive me on that. It said, for sure as in their life have received benefit, have not known me, right? They have not known. Let's move on. Let's go to 2 chapter 15, verse 1. 2 15, verse 1. Behold, speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I put in their mouth, said the Lord, right? The words of prophecy. And the cause be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, right? For they are faithful and true. Fear not imagination against thee. Let not thy iniquity, I'll say the word right, iniquity of them that trouble thee, they speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die, and their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will be placed around the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction, right? The sword, famine, death. 2 chapter 15, verse 1, it said, behold, speak in the ears of my peoples the words of prophecy which I put in their mouth, said the Lord, are called to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Yeah, for they are faithful and true. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 6, verse 10. Jeremiah 6, verse 10. It said, to whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, there is uncircumcision, and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of the Lord unto them a reproach, that have no delight in it, right? To have no delight in it. Right? To whom shall I speak to give warning that they may hear? Behold, there is uncircumcision, and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of the Lord unto them a reproach, they have no delight in it. Right? To whom shall I speak and give warning? All right, let's go to Jeremiah 28, verse 1. Jeremiah 28, verse. Nevertheless, hear thou now these words that I speak in thy ear, and in the ear of all the peoples, the prophets that have been before me and before thee, of old prophet, both against many countries and against great kingdom of wars and of evil and of pestilence. Right? Jeremiah 28, verse 8, the prophet that have been before me and before thee, of old prophet, both against many countries, against great kingdom of war, of evil, and of pestilence. Right? Let's go to, nobody, been already. See, hold on. I'm just going to go right to the scriptures. Let's go to, Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 1. Let's go to verse 5. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 5. Thus said the Lord, power of evil, and only evil, behold, is coming. And evil, the end is coming. The end is coming. Watch for thee, behold, it is coming. The morning is coming unto thee, O thou that dwell in the land. The time is coming, the day of trouble is near, and not the sound against of the mountain. Right? Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 25. Destruction coming, they shall see peace, and there shall be none. Right? The destruction is coming, and there shall see peace, and there shall be none. Nope. Let's go to Luke 21. Get a couple more. Luke 21, verse 34. Okay. Luke 21, verse 34. It said, and take heed to yourself, that any time your heart be overcharged with surfing and drinking and caring of this life, so that they come upon you unaware, for as a snare shall come. Yeah, for as a snare shall it come on all that at them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch you therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all those things should come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? To stand before the Son of Man. Luke 21, verse 20. Luke chapter 21, verse 36. It said, watch you therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all those things shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? To stand before the Son. Okay. Let's go to Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right? The third woe coming quick. Right? The third woe coming quick. Revelation chapter 11, verse. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right? The third woe coming quick. Right? The third woe coming quick. I think that shall be it. I think so. I think so. see. 1 Peter 4 verse 6, it say, For this cause was the gospel was preached also to them that are dead, that they may be judged according to the man in the flesh, but live according to the Most High in the Spirit. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Right? Watch unto prayer. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Right? Watch unto prayer. Right? Watch unto prayer. Let's see what else I can. That should be it right there. Revelation 2. No. It will close it out. Now let's get Revelation chapter 22, verse 10. Yeah, that should do it right there. Revelation 22, verse 10. And he say unto me, see not the saying of this prophet, of this book, for the time is at hand. Right? For the time is at hand. Revelation 22, verse 10. And he say unto me, see not the saying of this prophet, of this book, for the time is at hand. Right? For the time is at hand. So we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Avashah, double honor to the apostle, but the elder great millstone, Shalom to the host of the land.